Hello everybody, Grand Day Rising and welcome to my channel. Yesterday I received another response from my Labour MP for East Thanet, Polly Billington, regarding the matter of Arla, which I took up with her at the end of last year. As you recall, I wrote to her on the 28th of December by email. It was a 3-page email and I received a response from her on the 28th of April 2025. So you're talking about 5 weeks ago. And she said she was going to take the matter up with Steve Reed, the Secretary of State for Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs. And yesterday she sent me another email with a response from DEFRA, otherwise known as the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, with their response. Now, it's interesting the timing of this, because Dan and I were out and about yesterday, and Kerry at Budget Cooking UK had brought out a video update on Bovaer. I will put the link to Kerry's video in the description. And I'd only just finished watching and commenting on Kerry's video when an email came through on my phone from Polly Billington. Coincidence or divine timing? Serendipity? Who knows? Anyway, I will read what she briefly said. I will also read the letter from DEFRA, and I will then read my response to Polly Billington. Dear Catherine, again, a few weeks ago you wrote to me about the Farm Ahead project, which is what the Bovaer project is officially known as. And I forwarded your email to the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs to get their response. I have now received their reply, which you can read by clicking here, and the reply was attached. I hope you find that helpful, and please don't hesitate to write back to me if there are any further points you'd like me to raise. The letter goes like this. To Polly Billington MP, House of Commons, London, SW1AOAA. Your reference PB 06598, our reference MC 2025/09269/FA. 2nd of June 2025, so very recent. Dear Polly, thank you for your email of 28th April to the Secretary of State on behalf of your constituent, Catherine Evans, it gives my address, about Bovaer feed additive. I'm replying as the Minister responsible for this policy area. Now, I will also state at this point of time that the 28th of April was the day I had received a response for her, so she did it straight away. So fair play to her for that. Agriculture accounts for around 12% of all greenhouse gases. Does it really? Where are the data? Tackling methane emissions from livestock is vital to tackling climate change. Oh, you don't say. DEFRA considers that methane suppressing feed products such as Bovaer are an essential tool to decarbonise the agriculture sector. All authorised feed additives have undergone the Food Standard Agency's FSA safety assessment and are safe for the UK market. DEFRA values market freedom of choice, and once a product is approved, its use is entrusted to the discretion of the market. Now, you may recall in one of my updates, either videos or community posts, I did make mention of the fact that Kerry had written to the Food Standards Agency, and they did admit that a little bit of their Bovaer does come through the food stream and into the milk. So we have something of a conflict of statements here. One side, DEFRA, say that it's completely safe, and the FSA say that there is a risk, albeit minimal, they say, but they do agree that there is a risk. So go and explore my vault and community posts, and you should find more information there, and there are a number of links to Kerry's videos as well. In England, we plan to support the uptake of a range of methane suppressing feed products with proven safety and high efficacy, and we're working closely with industry to explore the best approach. This is alongside other measures to reduce methane emissions on farms. Our plan to reduce methane emissions from agriculture and tackle climate change is to support the development of a mature market of a range of safe and effective products in England, where we heard the safe and effective before, as soon as possible, and that all suitable cattle systems are using methane suppressants by 2030. You see, this is part of the global 2030 agenda. There are currently no rules requiring meat or dairy products to be labelled with details of animal feed, and there are no plans to introduce any. Well, that's unfortunate. Bovaer has been through the appropriate safety checks, short-term studies. Fed in accordance with manufacturer instructions, Bovaer is fully metabolised by the cow and is not present in milk or meat. There's no consumer exposure to Bovaer. Oh yes, and I will link again the article that shows that there have been problems with cattle, in particular Denmark. An FSA spokesperson said milk from cows given Bovaer, a feed additive used to reduce methane emissions, is safe to drink. It's all very well making these statements, but how do we know it's safe? How can they prove it? It's like saying, oh, a car with no driver will be perfectly fine, everything is driven by AI. As you'll appreciate, it's not going to be safe in every situation, especially those that require rapid reflexes or actions. Bovaer has undergone rigorous safety assessments and is approved for use in Great Britain. The FSA's rigorous safety assessment determined that the feed additive Bovaer is not carcinogenic when used at the recommended rate. But that tends to conflict with other studies that point to the chemical compound 3-NOP in the studies conducted as being carcinogenic and deadly in some, if not all, of the cases. Bovaer is produced by a Dutch company named DSM Firmenich It's a feed additive which reduces methane emissions from cows by an average of 27%. Also known as 3-NOP, it has been approved for use in more than 50 countries, including Canada, Australia and in the EU. But just because it's been approved doesn't mean to say it's safe. It received approval from the FSA for use in the UK as a zootechnical feed additive in April 2024. The FSA authorisation process assesses evidence on animal health, consumer health and environmental safety. The process also assesses the evidence provided to demonstrate the methane reduction efficacy of the product. The FSA assessed that Bovaer as a raw product should be considered corrosive to eyes, a skin irritant and potentially harmful by inhalation. Before it's delivered to farms, it's mixed at feed mills at the proper dosage, which is just 1 gram of Bovaer per 20 kilos of feed. This pre-mixing means that farmers do not come into contact with this raw product, and it is instead handled by people who are trained to do so safely. Proper handling and mixing guidelines are provided by Bovaer to limit any harmful effects to these people, and these are similar to existing practices such as wearing gloves, masks, etc. Products like Bovaer and other methane suppressing feed products, MSFPs, have the potential to significantly reduce methane emissions from livestock and help contribute towards our net zero targets. As such, we want to build confidence in these products and are working with the British Standards Institute to develop a publicly available specification detailing the evidence requirements for safety and efficacy of MSFPs. So if you like, a persuasive tactic, but most people are turned off to it. So I think they're wasting time and money. Yours sincerely, Daniel Zakner MP, and he is Minister of State based at Seacole Building, 2 Marsham Street, London. So there we have it. So I wrote back to Polly Billington. This took me quite a while because I was trying to type it on my mobile phone. I'm not very good at texting or small screens. Thank you so much for your email with attached response from DEFRA. Having read the attached letter, I am far from satisfied with the response. If you would care to go and have a look at YouTube and many other forms of media online, not just in the UK, you will find many testimonies and evidence to the contrary. Myself and many others are deeply concerned about the use of Bovaer, which is linked to infertility and cancer and has been making cows sick, as I pointed out in my previous emails to you with links and attachments. So I did. Furthermore, some people, including myself, are highly allergic to food additives, and surely clear labelling is a health and safety issue, allowing people to make an informed decision about whether or not to consume Bovaer-fed products and in line with the usual food safety standards. So labelling is actually really important going forward. Why should Bovaer-dosed products be treated any differently, i.e. not labelled? I would like to ask you, have you actually seen Bovaer? It is a white substance that looks like cocaine. Clearly, this has more to do with money and vested interests by large corporations, including BlackRock and Vanguard, and global food producers such as Nestlé, than the health and well-being of people, animals and the environment. The response from DEFRA acknowledges the need for safety protocol when handling Bovaer feed, due to, in particular, the 3-NOP chemical compound it contains. Bovaer, of course, is manufactured in factory conditions, so as a critical thinker, will any of that not filter into the atmosphere or the land and waterways, even as residue? What sort of environmental impact will possibly occur over time, and are there any scientific data to support any statement? I am not satisfied at all with the response from DEFRA and where other data supporting their claims. I no longer believe statements without the evidence to support them. Well, I never really did, even as a young person, believe any statements without any evidence. I was always pretty clued up. My dad was a real scientist and my mum also a critical thinker. And I must say I was brought up to respect their ethos, and to me it was a natural thing to do, not just to believe but also to see the evidence and weigh up for myself in order to believe or to form my own conclusions. I never really believed the hype behind the moon landings, for example, nor did I believe the event known as 9/11 happened in the way we were told it happened. But that's my story. You may have formed different conclusions, and that's perfectly fine. We're just here sitting on the sofa together, having a little bit of dialogue. I would like to pose a few questions. Who will be accountable if any so-called benefits turn out not to be beneficial at all? Or will farmers and the general public be gaslit and told that they chose to administer or consume the products and therefore they are responsible for their own plight? In other words, is there going to be another global incident situation where organisations have protection or immunity from prosecution when things go horribly wrong? Are we no longer entitled to the right to know what we are feeding ourselves and our children and any effects it might have on the animals and biodiversity and welfare of our planet? If climate change is a valid concern, then there are other more natural ways, such as seaweed and cyclical farming methods, that can be employed to tackle methane and that pose minimal risk to animals and humans alike. Such methods should be explored in greater depth by the agencies making any decisions that affect health, animal welfare and the food chain. Thank you for pursuing this matter on my behalf, which is greatly appreciated. With best regards, Catherine Evans. So, what do you think? What's your opinion about all of this? I would be interested to know. Please like this video if you find it useful. Share, subscribe, ding the notification bell. Let me have your comments. I, for one, would throw down the gauntlet to Polly Billington and say, why don't we meet and discuss further? Or better still, why don't you invite me down to the Commons and I will happily give a presentation on behalf of the people. Sometimes you just got to stick your net above the parapet and get things out to a wider platform. However, I think that the idea of reducing or removing CO2 from the atmosphere is, quite frankly, misguided and, dare I say, pie in the sky. CO2 is the gas of life. humans, animals, other creatures, the land and even the sea cannot exist without it. So then what is the ultimate goal here? Is it to just end everything? So thank you so much for watching, and let's see if anything further happens, and I'll see you again soon for the next video. Until then, bye for now.